In a galaxy torn apart by the last war, vast pirate fleets roam from system to system, robbing, extorting, and rounding up slaves. Any attempt to form any kind of central authority larger than a city-state is quickly and brutally crushed. In this dark time, the only way to survive is to stay small and inconspicuous. Amidst this chaos, however, thousands of independent crews manage to carry on their business. Smugglers, relic hunters, freedom fighters, and mercenaries roam the dead stars in small ships, scratching out a living any way they can. I've been very much focused on Age of Sigmar, the tabletop wargame from Games Workshop, originally based for me on a rather romantic reminiscing. Wanting to play the war games with a fully painted army, something I never got to while being in the hobby as a kid. Only to end up totally falling into the rabbit hole, not only discovering I liked Alice, but also all her strange in-appearance friends. While laying all my bets on the one big fantasy wargame horse, I entertained the fact that there are other game aspects I would like to bet on as well. One sought-after aspect was a skirmish-style game. Skirmish being games utilizing less miniatures and usually moving them individually instead of the one full unit at a time. The other aspect was a sci-fi setting, not only so that I can paint some sci-fi minis, but also so that I can potentially put some cool flares into the videos and make utterly simplistic yet sci-fi sounding soundscapes with the help of this incredibly complex alien machinery. And yeah, also to be the opposite style complement to the vast fantasy wargame I'm already so into. And then, a while back, I think while watching a video of Adam, that is Tabletop Minions Adam, there was a mention of an upcoming game called Stargrave. This being in essence my life hack of keeping somewhat up to speed of what goes on in the hobby. Not Stargrave, but Tabletop Minions, so hats off to Adam. Anyway, Stargrave. Essentially presented as Frostgrave in space. Frostgrave, being a game I had heard a lot of nice things about, resulted in quite the pickle of my interests. Supposedly a skirmish game in a sci-fi setting, and also not created by Games Workshop. The latter being something I felt kind of strongly for. If I'm going to start betting on other horses, then I might as well take a look at how other people build their stables. So I asked Ospray Games if they could send me the Stargrave book ahead of release. Something they kindly agreed to do. All this talk about betting on horses is fun, but I'm not someone who bets blindly. Seeing as, in a way, I am now not only betting with my own money, but potentially also yours. Some preparation was due. So what is Stargrave? Well, let me read you this section from the book. The galaxy is a rough place. Most of the once powerful planets have been reduced to rubble, their populations decimated. Even the smaller colonies that were left untouched by the war have seen their economies collapse as necessary trade dried up. Vast pirate fleets roam the stars, taking what they want and enforcing their own brand of law and justice. Plagues have run unchecked through many systems. Famine has turned others into wastelands. Raiding, border skirmishes, and other low-level warfare is rife. It is against this background that the independent crews operate, generally consisting of a single ship and a small crew. These small bands travel between the systems, keeping to the shadows and out of sight of the pirate fleets. Some crews are freedom fighters, looking to strike against the pirates, or idealists looking to rebuild civilization. Others are treasure hunters, picking through the ruins for lost technology and other valuable artifacts. Still others are bounty hunters, religious crusaders, shady merchants, pirates, and criminals on the run. In truth, there are as many causes and reasons to fly between the stars as there are spaceships. So, simply put, you are running a in the future set crew of 10 beings, 1 captain, 1 first mate, and up to 8 soldiers. The game can be played with 2 up to 4 players, each in charge of their own crew. A game is in essence based around reaching and retrieving different types of loot placed on the table, thus leading to close and ranged combat. That was the really, really short version. I have by now, also with the help of my very wargame rules knowledgeable neighbour, studied the book, and we are both pleased, probably for different reasons. He's pleased over the mechanics, how the game plays out. I'm pleased over the general style and setting, but also, to me, the unfamiliar gentle openness of how all this is written. Just listen to this. While Stargrave is designed to be a competitive game between 2 or more players, it is less concerned with being a tactical exercise and more interested in helping players achieve a shared sense of fun and adventure as their crews explore the dark, dangerous, and potentially profitable corners of a galaxy that has been ripped apart by war. These rules attempt to cover all the situations that are likely to occur during play, but, without a doubt, there will be times when the exact rule for a given situation is unclear. In these cases, the first question to ask is, what would happen in the movie? Or, to put it in another way, decide on the coolest, most dramatic, cinematic result and go with that. This is a game about high drama, big moments, and big explosions. Always remember, these rules have been created for one purpose: for players to have fun. If there is any aspect of the game that you want to change, any rules you want to add, or any ideas you want to incorporate that will make the game more fun for you and your gaming buddies, then please do so. Having fun is the point of playing a game, after all. I mean, I'm used to the written in stone kind of rules. I admittedly have not read my way through many wargames, but just the way this is presented, the overall focus on do what you want, as long as you have fun, I find it utterly refreshing. And this leads me on to another major reason why this game appeals to me. There are official miniatures created by North Star military figures, but, quoting the book again, there are loads of really cool science fiction miniatures on the market representing all the facets and sub-genres of sci-fi, and players should see this game as an opportunity to pick up the ones they've always wanted, but never previously had use for. In general, players should try and get figures that roughly match the characters they represent, but this should never get in the way of having fun and collecting the miniatures you want. I mean, yeah, this is something that in a way could be adopted to all games. We could play 40k with Lego, but we don't. But being invited to getting whatever I want in the rulebook, that leads to extensive mental somersaults. And also, I then just did kind of get everything I wanted. Admittedly, going slightly overboard, it might even be called a spree. As it turns out, there's quite a lot of sci-fi miniatures I wanted to collect. So while showing you some of the miniatures I've irresponsibly amassed with the help of Patreon funds, a loving thank you to all patrons for making this plunge possible, and also to Cromlesh for supporting me with bits, I'll be talking a bit more in-depth-ish about the game. The first step in creating your independent crew is sketching out a mental picture of the crew you want to play. Is your crew the remnants of a military unit, still desperately trying to fight the last war? A group of nearly extinct aliens desperately seeking other survivors of their race? Or a team of art experts who recover lost artworks from ruined planets in the hope of selling them for a premium to collectors amongst the pirates? While these decisions have no specific impact on your crew in terms of rules, having a few broad outlines in mind will help with the rest of the process and give you a starting point in telling the story of your crew. This game has an element of role-play games. Your captain and first mate are customizable to fit your story and/or playstyle. No stat is set in stone. There are choices of different traits like cyborg, mystic, that's kind of like copyright-friendly Jedi, veteran, rogue, robotics expert, and more, all with different stat modifications and powers. Your soldiers can be hacker, medic, sniper, commando, and more. Different weapons and equipment can be bought or picked up along the way, because there is, if you wish, and probably where a lot of the fun lies, a continued story, a grander campaign, so to speak. After every battle, you can use or sell the loot found, upgrade your crew and level up your captain and first mate, but also carry on injuries from previous battles. You can even upgrade your not in-game hypothetical spaceship. There are several missions in the book that can be used as foundations for a game, and already quite the community going, where most certainly both character, crew building and missions will be developed and shared. I've also been told that on the day of the release, there will be a free separate set of solo player rules released. One of the big fun things for me in this game is the random encounters. To keep up the pace and to give the game a bit more of a SimCity earthquake vibe, a dice is regularly tossed for random encounter or unwanted attention, quote-unquote, on both of those two. One being more focused on the random monster appearance and the other on pirates. I'm, of course, going for pirates as a rule. I mean, space pirates. Could that be anything but orcs? So not only do I look forward to building and painting space orc pirates, I look forward to this sprinkle of a little bit of gaming chaos being brought to the table. Now, I've got quite the number of miniatures to work on, but the fantastic thing about this game is that you don't have to. If you already are drowning in plastic, you can use just whatever you've got. My buy-in was optional, but if you, for instance, quite recently bought, let's say, the Warhammer 40k Indomitus box, well, you've got your 2 space crews right there. I watched a recent battle report by Guerrilla Miniature Games, where Stargrave rules were used together with miniatures and narrative from 40k Rogue Trader. That's a pretty fun combination. My buy-in does have another reason. Not only are they miniatures I find visually appealing and interesting, that regardless of how widely different they may be, hopefully will come together in interesting crews, they are also empty canvases, not dictated by a one-army color scheme. So not only fun for me as basis for experimentation, but also perhaps for you. If there is anything specific you've been pondering when it comes to painting, or just something you think would be fun to watch, now is the time to ask. In the long run, I'm hoping, not sure if I can pull it off, to make simpler videos to alternate the larger, time-consuming productions, to get some quick tips in among the deeper thoughts. And to those of you that are thinking, but hey, what about Age of Sigmar and that? Well, this is by no means a definite leap in another direction, just one to complement the other. I haven't played Stargrave yet, but I am looking forward to it. And I'd like to end with a thank you to Joseph McCullough for putting together what seems to be a lovely game and for doing it in such a relaxed and welcoming manner. This invitation, the setting of a game that we as gamers can take anywhere we want. If it's looting a crashed ship on Tatooine, going through the ring looking for proto-molecule, or beaming down phases set to stun. I, for one, can do nothing but strap in and press the cool sci-fi looking button.